What is up, YouTube? It is Ray Builds here, and I have a different type of video here today. It's not Lego again, I know, but it is from another site that makes Lepin-ish, knockoff Lego type of things. And they do sell figures among other sets. The site is called 01BigBricks. I'll put the website in the description. And they do make plenty of figures, some Lego copies, others totally their design. And I don't know that they copy other people's design or if they do make all their molds in-house. Either way, I spent a couple bucks here to get all these figures. Everything off their site is very cheap, and they have a great rewards program to where even spending 10 bucks, you'll get like a $5 reward. So it does get me coming back every time, especially for the exclusive Star Wars figures that Lego will probably never make. Anyways, here are a couple of the figures that I purchased. I'll just start from the right and work my way to the left. First, we have Darth Malgus here. And if you look carefully, he's a lot different than the other Darth Malgus you guys may have seen before. So, first and foremost, I'm going to just rate the figure off the basis of the figure, and then as well as the things that are exclusive to each figure. So, first and foremost, he lets go of his lightsaber way too easy. His arms are way too loose. The gap between his legs are not tapered, which is good. A lot of these figures, since the quality is 50-50 on each one, it's usually a gamble on every figure that you buy. When it's tapered towards the bottom like that, they don't really walk on studs that well, and they can't be posed as well. This cape here is exactly McDonald's napkin quality, which I believe is what they make them from specifically. And another thing I'd like to say is that the actual parts colors are the opposite to the Lego figure. The official Lego figure one has pretty much dark bluish gray except for his hands, which are black. This one is flipped on all of the colors. And he also has a very thick custom chest piece that is exclusive to the figure that kind of brings out his shoulders, as well as has his actual mask that goes to his face. This figure, on the other hand, has the emphasis of his hood, which I'll get to in a minute. But first, I'd like to talk about his torso. So, if you look online at a Google picture of Darth Malgus, or even the Lego figure of Darth Malgus, you'll know that the big circle, these two little circles, the red light, all of those things are way too big. They're a lot smaller on both the Lego figure and the picture of the character. They're meant to be on his pectoral region, I don't know, on his pecs, and they've somehow made it all a lot bigger and then printed it over his entire torso, like they just made it off of Microsoft Paint or whatever. He's got this whole area on his lower abdomen of like layered armor, but that's not even present here, which is just weird. They totally half-baked his torso. And this printing specifically is on the shoulder piece on the official Lego figure. Now, as for the face, I'm going to pull off his hood here. Oh, it's a gamble too. Sometimes you'll never be able to remove these guys after you put them on. His face is weirdly small compared to other faces. It's small, and his eyes are a little bit too far apart, and because he's a bad guy, they decided to give his eyes realistic printing, so it does look a little bit off-putting. Kind of scary. But his mask is small, and his mask originally would be on the shoulder piece of the Lego figure. And the reason they do this is because if you put the hood on, his face and his mask actually take up the entire area that the hood exposes. So in that regard, it does look good. This piece specifically, his hood and his face, that could be transplanted anywhere else, it'd look good. But the chest printing is lackluster. There's no leg printing. There's no other printing. This McDonald's napkin sucks. And yeah. Also, I gotta say, on all the minifigure stands, they do have a lot of excess plastic, like from the casting, so you gotta be careful about this because you could hurt yourself if you drag your hand across it too quickly. But that's true with all the figures as well. When you're building the arms, they have excess plastic you gotta break off. Honestly, this figure was not worth it. All of the figures you'll see here today, except for Ghost Revan and the droid, Buzzdroid, were like $2.30. So, very cheap figures. This is not worth one of them, so I'm glad I'm able to review them for you guys here. Next up is White Jedi Aayla Secura. So this is basically based off of Aayla Secura from Star Wars, but she is in white robes. First and foremost, she has also not grabbed her lightsaber very well. Loose hands. At least her arm doesn't fall out like the Malgus figure. That one, arms kind of fell out. And you got to be careful about that too. Some of the figures, the head likes to fly off. Like on this one, there's no clutch power on the head whatsoever here. Sometimes it's on the legs as well. Her arms are very stiff. Too stiff in my opinion. Same with her hands. Her hands barely rotate. Hurts me to rotate them. And the legs luckily stay in. This figure has 3 unique pieces on it. And just talking about the printing for a moment, none of these are pad printed. They're like Legos, so they're inked on and you don't feel them. So at least that's the good part for all of them. The skirt piece here, I actually like it very much. I'd like to see that in different colors. And interchangeable with Lego, the molding is good. So if we could buy more of those separately, that would be great. Alright, the printing itself I think looks pretty good. She could definitely use with some arm printing and maybe some more printing altogether. I've seen them go all out and do like, you know, side torso printing to where the arm goes in. I'm guessing it's a little too expensive is the reason why they don't do it on every figure, but it does look really good when they do it. Alright, I'm going to pull off her head here so we can look at her head. So, I believe the head is of 01BigBricks design. They're not copying someone else, I hope. This part does separate from the head, which is a little weird because take a look at this. I guess that's what Twi'leks look like without their little earphone piece. Kind of off-putting, but very clever how they did this as like she's wearing something over her head and her face is poking out here, as opposed to them doing it all blue and then having to print the white. Earpiece design does slip over. It has these like little indentations, like you could slip a minifig motorcycle visor over, but you can't. This is meant to be slipped over. This is very loose as well. This likes to come off her head, especially if you're trying to rotate her head. Sometimes you'll rotate her head and this will stay in place. Overall, an interesting figure with some poor designs. I give it a 6 out of 10. Really for display purposes is what I would say. Next up is probably my favorite figure so far. It is Ghost Revan, like from Knights of the Old Republic. Same with Malgus. I love this figure. This is my favorite one out so far. Let me just show you first of all. He has good clutch power on his lightsaber, so he's not going to let go of that by accident. Secondly, no tapering in the legs. Elias Secura didn't have any tapering either, so it walks good. His legs are a little bit loose, but his arms aren't, and his hands are just like a normal Lego. He has only leg, torso, and face printing, nowhere else, and I'll get to that in a minute. And his hood slips off very easily. Yeah, the printing on this figure is exactly the same as the May the 4th promo Darth Revan figure, 1-to-1. And for that reason, I do like it quite a bit. Gives me old vibes from Lego Star Wars Complete Saga of Force Ghost figures. And Lego's never going to do anything like this, and they haven't done anything like this. They've done the arm for Jek 14, but nothing trans blue like a trans blue figure. So very cool. A figure I believe I will use for one reason or another. Highly recommended. Favorite one of this batch here. Yep, all the pieces are good. Trans blue hood. Oh, just kidding. That's never going to come out ever. So I like it. I like this figure. 9 out of 10. Alright, next up we have Admiral Yularen. I don't think he's a Grand Admiral yet, but this is how he looks in Rebels, his appearance there. Right off the bat, no tapering in the legs, so he does fit onto his plates pretty well. The printing is okay. His badge is a little bit like off-center. I don't know if you can see that, but it's not totally flat. I don't know if that's on purpose or if that was an accident, but it looks like a figure would if they were wearing a badge. One thing that doesn't fit from the original Toys R Us figure I believe you could buy at Toys R Us back in the day is he didn't have white hands. He had just regular hands, flesh tone, minifig flesh tone. Here he has white gloves. I don't think he wore white gloves in Rebels, but that's what he comes with. Not accurate in my opinion. His arms, they're stiff, but he does grip his gun well. He's not going to drop it. Hairpiece, Nothing special there. He's only got one face. I like his face. This is a good figure. If anything, I'd put him back in the background. This is a good figure. I would put him in the background of the Death Star. I definitely wouldn't make him a main character on anything. Minimal printing. No arm, leg printing. Just torso and face. That's all you get. Pretty cheap, though. He was only like $2.40. So if I was to rate him on a 9 to 10 scale, I'd say he's at about a 5. Nothing special. If you don't have him, this is a great way to get him, but nothing crazy to look at. Okay, and last but not least is this Buzzdroid. So it's a little bit of a weird one. It's not really a figure, and it's 01BigBricks in-house design. A lot of these parts are not Lego. They don't come with instructions, so when I was putting this together, I had to pull up the actual image at the purchasing part of the page and just copy the image. It's got a bunch of different parts in here, and there's like the only 2 Lego parts are actually the hands. These are minifig hands that fit into the gun-looking thing here. But the idea is that you can fold them up into a ball, or you can have them walk around. In the picture, I don't know why I thought these guys were smaller, because, I mean, take a look. He is just totally massive compared to Admiral Yularen. He's literally taller than him, wider than him. Like, if you saw this thing in real life compared to you, it'd look like an animal. Which is not accurate to what they are in the movie. In the movie, they're tiny, you know. They're crawling across the starfighters and ripping stuff apart, and you can see them compared to, like, R2's head. They're not that big. They're meant to be, like, maybe, like, down to here. Right in his knee height. But there is a lot of detail in this figure, and if it was smaller, I'd say that would be fantastic. But this is way too big as is. The detail is really good, though. I want to go into the detail here. You see he's got guns coming off of his arm, and I'm guessing these hands are meant to tear apart the ships. The arms are all posable. The legs are posable. They don't walk, unfortunately. They can twist, but they don't walk. He can do a 360. Oops, if he doesn't slide out. Yeah, that needs to be longer. Otherwise, he just keeps popping out when you twist him. See? I like the eyes. The eyes are very accurate to the movie. Hit the center eye. R2. Center eye. And I do like the fact that you can fold him up into a ball, so I'll show you how to do that. You disconnect his lower legs. Rip out these arms. Rip out whatever. I think these are the dome arms. And then you got to put these on the right direction, because he's got big thrusters in the back. I was wondering what these were. They came with the figure, short little sticks, and I now know they're for this. So you gotta rip the arms out and put these guys in instead. So then you slip these ones over the eyes, and they have to be the correct direction. All the eyes are different sizes too. And boom, now you got a little ball. I think the stick's meant to go in the other way. But now it looks how they look when they get released by the Tri-Fighter droid. Pretty cool, pretty compact, still way too big compared to a figure. Jeez. Good detail, wrong scaling. So overall, I give this figure in particular an 8 out of 10, just because it's got that macro detail, and though I'm never going to use it for like a mock or anything else, I can at least display it and show off, like, here's what a Buzzdroid looks in greater detail, because you never really see it for that long in the movie. I should note that the figures all come with extra pieces as well. These are just hands, and that's all they really come with. But all the figures were a great deal. Most of them were like $2.50. And I think Revan was actually like, but none of the figures exceeded $3. And I just think these are interesting alternatives to paying for minifigures, especially for like hard to find figures like Malgus, and custom figures like Ghost Revan and Aayla Secura. And, you know, custom builds as well, like this Buzzdroid. Very cheap. And 01BigBricks is a reliable source. I know when I first ordered from them, I didn't think I was going to get any figures, but they are pretty cool. The reward system is fantastic. Like, you know, you can do the math. This was about a little over $10. And the reason I keep ordering from him is because after every order, he gives me like a $5 reward. And so, you know, a $10 order with $5 off, I'm paying for half of what the figures are worth that are already dirt cheap. So I like the reward system a lot. Let me know what you guys think about the figures in the comment section, and if you're interested in me reviewing any figures specifically, because I actually just got an email as I was making this video, another reward certificate, so I can buy some more figures. Alright guys, that'll be it for the video. Like and subscribe.